I'm a nurse practitioner. I have a graduate degree in healthcare. I prescribed GLP-1 medications to patients before I ever took one myself. And I still believe things about this medication class that were categorically wrong. If that's where you are, you're in good company. So let's go through them. Welcome to Off-Label with Fallon G, DMP. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. I'm Fallon. I'm a nurse practitioner, dual board certified. I am a perimenopausal. I'm dealing with post-VSG weight gain, and I'm on a personal journey with Mounjaro. The content in this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Please speak with your own licensed healthcare provider before making any changes to your medications, your diet, or your health plan. Myth number 1, it's the easy way out. This was my biggest one. Even as someone who clinically understood obesity as a disease of dysregulated energy homeostasis, even as someone who would never say this to a patient, I privately thought GLP-1 as something other people needed and that I should be able to do without. Let's talk about the reality here. Taking a GLP-1 is not easy. Let me describe what it actually involves. A weekly injection or a daily pill with strict timing requirements, active management of side effects like nausea, constipation, and fatigue, intentional protein intake of 25 to 30 grams per meal to prevent muscle loss. And this is difficult when your appetite is suppressed. Regular lab monitoring, psychological adjustment to your changing relationship with food, resistance training to preserve lean muscle mass, the emotional work of the food noise, silence, the grief, the identity shifts. This is what GLP-1 actually requires. None of that is easy. What it is effective because it addresses the right neurological and metabolic mechanisms that willpower was never designed to override. The medication isn't doing the work for you, it's giving you the right tool for the actual job. The willpower myth is particularly damaging for women in midlife because the biology of perimenopause is actively working against that willpower and what your willpower could accomplish. Declining estrogen dysregulates dopamine signaling, increases food cue reactivity, disrupts your sleep, and drives insulin resistance. The idea that the right amount of discipline should be able to override all of that at one time is just not wrong thinking, it's unkind to yourself. Food noise is a neurological signal driven by dopamine receptor dysregulation, not character. GLP-1 receptors in the nucleus accumbens, basically the brain, a big word for saying the brain's reward center, directly reduce dopamine-driven food motivation. Willpower is a prefrontal cortex function. Food noise is a limbic function. You were trying to use the wrong part of your brain for the problem. It's cheating because it does the work for me. Oh, this one I hate. We don't say someone is cheating when they take blood pressure medication instead of meditating their hypertension into submission. We don't say to someone it's taking the easy way out when they use insulin for their type 2 diabetes. The idea that obesity requires a person to achieve results through effort alone and that pharmacological support constitutes some moral shortcut, this is a product of weight stigma, not medicine. Obesity is classified as a chronic progressive disease by every major medical body in the world. Chronic diseases are treated with appropriate medical interventions. A GLP-1 medication treating metabolic dysfunction is no different, ethically or clinically, from using a statin to treat elevated cholesterol. The difference is that the weight stigma narrative has convinced many patients, and even some providers, otherwise. The narrative is wrong. And the harm it causes, delayed treatment, shame, years of suffering, and undertreated disease is real. What if I lose all my muscle? This one has a kernel of truth to it that gets inflated into a reason not to start. Yes, rapid weight loss without intentional muscle preservation does result in lean mass loss alongside the fat loss. But research suggests that without resistance training and adequate protein intake, up to 40% of the weight loss on a GLP-1 can come from lean muscle mass. And that is a real concern. But it's not a fixed outcome. It's a preventable outcome. With 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per body weight daily, especially for women, resistance training at least twice weekly, and adequate sleep for growth hormone release, human growth hormone release, the muscle loss risk is the reason you need a protocol alongside the prescription. not just a reason to avoid the prescription. And the fifth myth, once I stop the medication, I'll gain it all back. This myth actually contains real data that gets oversimplified into a deterrent. The Step 4 trial showed that participants who could discontinue semaglutide regained approximately 2/3 of their weight loss within a year. That is real. What the data doesn't tell is the full story. Building the habits, the labs, the nutritional framework, the sleep, the muscle mass that determine what happens when and if medication is tapered. Again, obesity is a chronic condition, and for many women, long-term medication management is appropriate, just as long-term antihypertensive therapy is appropriate for chronic hypertension. The conversation is about tapering, maintenance, and long-term strategy, and this needs to happen early. But it is not a reason to avoid starting. It should be about developing a comprehensive treatment program. So these are 5 myths, all of them I believe about myself, even as a nurse practitioner, before I started tirzepatide. All of them worth releasing because they were costing me years of appropriate care. What myth has been keeping you from asking the question? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone and try to respond to everyone. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.